Macau in China, the final round of the 2010 FIA World Touring Car Championship. And for the first time ever, we come to the Chinese enclave with the champion already decided. Nonetheless, plenty of action in store on the tight and twisty streets of Macau. Well, in the last couple of seasons, it's been a happy hunting ground for Yvan Muller and for Rob Huff. And this year, they are both in the same Chevrolet team. Who'll come out on top? Leaving Okayama, BMW had a title shot, but that all went west.
Let's say it was deemed legal at that time, and of course we've ran it on, the car since July, since Brands Hatch. So to sort of lose the points a week later down the road is a hard situation. But we have to respect the FIA, and I fully support my team and BMW for what they tried to do. And just come to Macau now and enjoy it and try and be as quick as possible.
Well, we are more than disappointed about the outcome. We thought and we still think the car is legal, conforms with the regulations, and we had checked on this beforehand. So disappointment is there, but we have to accept the ruling, and we are here to finish off the season with a good result.
Well, the ruling that the 6-speed gearboxes used by the BMW team were illegal meant Muller is the 2010 champion before he gets to Macau. And he said, I got the news on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. I had jet lag. I woke up at 5 a.m, started checking my emails, and I had loads saying, congratulations. So I checked the web and saw the news. It had been announced by the FIA. But you can't really come here in a relaxed frame of mind, because if you want to do well, you really have to concentrate. So I'm going to do the same as I have done all year, try and do my best and not think about the championship already being decided. Chevrolet's Eric Neve saying we're prepared to do a sporting race here in Macau. Unfortunately, BMW used illegal gearboxes. They got disqualified, which means they are no longer in with a chance of the championship.
Body moving, body moving, body moving, we be body moving, body moving, body moving, body moving, we be body moving, a body moving, we be body moving, a body moving, body moving, body moving, body moving, body.
Well, as is traditional now in Macau, qualifying for touring cars taking place on Friday evening. Saturday reserved for other races, and the Chevrolets were quick. Rob Huff had been fastest in every session up until Q1. Big crash for Tom Coronel, interrupted qualifying, exiting the fast right-hander at Fisherman's. He smoked the barriers hard. Well, once qualifying resumed, Gabriele Tarquini chasing second place in the championship, fighting Huff and Prio, looking to get himself up into the top 10. Tarquini had a gearbox issue early on, but then interruption again. Andy Prio heavily in the wall. Ironically, Coronel had gone off, losing traction, having understeer as he was following Prio. Christian Poulsen, leading independent light, had also gone off. And as they restarted for the final time with the headlights on and dusk very much present, Coronel crashed to bring an end to the session.
I did not have the feeling I was overdriving. I was catching Andy Prio quite easy, and then just at Fisherman's Bend I was really close to his back of the car, and I just had light understeer, which means that the front was not responding enough, and very gently I just hit the barrier. I was also surprised. I didn't know this was going to happen, and yeah. very sorry. The damage was a lot worse because the hit was very small, was very soft. I mean, the second crash when I was in the barrier, I was even like, this is unreal. I'm dreaming. This is not true. This cannot happen to me. Yeah, but it was true. I mean, I'm very sorry for the mechanics, but I will be very nice for them. And this is Macau. It's a gamble.
Despite a crash, Andy Priaulx made it through into Q2. The team managed to repair the car in time.
I tried a little bit too hard and touched the wall, but you know, when you're missing 1 second to the Chevy, what can you do? You've got to push to the max, and we don't have the privilege of driving around with, you know, one hand on the armrest and enjoying it. So we had to push really hard, and yeah, we made a mistake, but great fun. Really enjoyed it. It's just so exciting, this place. It always throws the unexpected at you, and you know, we're into Q2, so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
And Darrell Young, fastest of the independents.
I know the circuit well, and I wanted to come here and get in the top 10, so I've done that job, and we got P1 independence, and now it's you know, I'm going to try to qualify as far up as possible because it's the best way to stay out of trouble in Macau.
The longest ever qualifying session restarted the next morning, 8 a.m. for the 15-minute top 10 shootout. Ivan Muller into the barriers right from the start, ruining his own outlap and that of Andre Coto, the Macanese driver. Rob Huff, having been beaten by Muller in Q1, took pole position with a great lap at the end of Q2.
A great result for the team. You know, a little bit of a shame we didn't get the 1, 2, 3, but Michele has obviously pulled a belting lap out there to put that second. But yeah, well done to the team. It's just been a great weekend so far. Let's try and finish it on a high note.
Well, Norbert Michelis did go second fastest, beating Chevrolet's Muller and Menu, stopping the 1, 2, 3.
I just want to be happy, and I think the second place shows the potential. Yesterday and the days before, I didn't want to take any risks because I didn't want to crash the car. But today, when the new tires were put on the car, I really knew that I have to go for it because I have now a chance to do a really good lap time, and it worked out this time, so I'm really happy.
Well, unfortunately for him, his second place came with a 5-place grid penalty. He would start the first race in 7th place, and we were in for a day of excitement. Race 1 in Macau, Sunday afternoon, and the heat rising fast as the drivers, all 27 of them, make the grid. Andre Coto, after a really tragic month, losing his 7-year-old son Afonso at the beginning of it, coming back to Macau where he has a residence, and the Chevrolet team celebrating their pole position. 1, 2, 3 on the grid for Chevrolet. Rob Huff, the pole man, on the right-hand side. Ivan Muller, the new champion, defending the left-hand side as they sweep through the first left-hander. And the traditional carnage starts right there as Andre Coto's race stops in the first corner of the weekend, adding extreme disappointment to his tragedy. Well, Chevrolet looking for a 1, 2, 3, but Thiago Monteiro getting his Seat in the mix, with Farfus giving chase as well. But with the carnage behind, it was clear that the race would not continue at full speed for long. Alain Menu eased out on the dirty side of the track into the Lisboa hairpin. He would rejoin way down the order amongst the independents. Well, as well as Andy Priaulx and Andre Coto, Mika Nukia got involved in that first corner shunt. Safety car was out for clean-up operations. Drivers went through the pits a couple of times. Poor Andre Coto, life really very tough indeed at the moment. Priaulx's car badly damaged. Incredibly, the RBM crew would get him back out again before the end of the race. Restarting with Rob Huff leading the charge. Thiago Monteiro in third, Farfus in fourth, Priaulx in the garage. His chances of runner-up in the championship all done. Huff with the race lead, Tarquini in fifth position. The outgoing champion looking to take that runner-up spot, but Huff with the lead of the race in the driving seat. Battles further on down the order. Darrell Young in the top 8, leading the independents category, but he got on the brakes a little early, shunted from behind by a surprise Tom Coronel, a young out-of-control, clattered into Freddie Bart's Seat, and they were both out on the spot. Alain Menu, one of those who avoided the damage. According to Coronel's telemetry, the Chevrolet braked a lot earlier than he was going to be expecting. He was still hard on the gas when Daryl Young got on the brakes, and the incident was unavoidable. Nonetheless, the stewards would eventually hand Tom Coronel a drive-through penalty for causing an avoidable accident. Meanwhile, as Ivan Muller fought a rearguard action against former teammate at SEAT Tiago Montero, Rob Huff was free to run away into the middle distance. He had been the quickest man all weekend and was merely showing the kind of pace his car had. Muller's didn't seem at any stage quite to be able to match it, except for the fastest time in Q1. Huff ran away, Norbert Michaelis in 6th position in his blue Seat, as Farfus tried to hold off Tarquini. Eventually, though, the turbo diesel got a better run on him, and through he went. Chevrolet on the brink of the Manufacturers' Championship, with Rob Huff leading and Ivan Muller in 2nd position. Finishing that way would give them their first ever World Championship as manufacturers, on top of Ivan Muller claiming the crown 2 years after he won it in Macau for SEAT. Carlos Sainz watching from the SEAT pit wall, his young son Carlos Jr. winning in the Formula BMW Asia race. Henry Ho crashing in the wall up on the hills. Safety car would be scrambled. And before that happened, the leaders were out. Tom Coronel handed a drive-through penalty at the end of the penultimate lap. Andy Priaulx saved from going a lap down by the safety car as he was in front of Rob Huff. Coronel rushing through to take his penalty, dropping down into 12th place at the end. Quite wide the pit lane was open at the exit with the safety car queue going by, not quite sure. Last lap of the race, and with Priaulx right in front of him, Rob Huff taking the flag for his 3rd win from pole in race 1 in Macau in 3 years. And with the 1-2 for Huff and Muller, Chevrolet not only providing the driver's champion, but also the manufacturer's crown as well. Christian Poulsen in 8th place, the winner of the independent category race. As Chevrolet began their championship celebrations after 5 years of trying. Rob Huff celebrating another Macau win. Well, with Daryl Young out, Christian Poulsen now moved into prime position to maybe snatch the independence category title away from Sergio Hernandez. But there was no doubting the delight of race winner Rob Huff.
You know, the team have done a great job. As manufacturers wrapped up now, so a great achievement by the team. And we just got to get through the next one, see if we can get me 2nd, and obviously keep Ivan on the top spot. So what a fantastic day so far.
And Muller, the champion, delighted with the result as well.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say hi to David. We think of you. No, it was a perfect weekend for me, without pressure, but still had to be motivated and keep focus to that race, which is not an easy race.
David Grace, the team manager at home in the UK. That was the little message from
I was a
Ivan.
bit faster than Ivan, but he's faster in one place, I'm faster in another place, so it's very difficult to overtake. They have quite a good straight line speed, so I pushed from the beginning, tried my best, of course. I was happy with the podium for sure, but you always want more, so 2nd would be even better. And I was thinking that last year I was actually 2nd fighting with Rob, so what's to do the same.
So Chevrolet claim the championship. Race 2 still to come on the streets of Macau. Race 2 in Macau, top 8 reverse from race 1's grid. And that means that Christian Poulsen, the lead Indy, is on pole position from Alain Menu, with Augusto Farfus and Norbert Michelis following. Race 1 winner Rob Huff in 8th position. And Andy Priaulx, after damage to his car in race 1, starting in 22nd place. But stall for Alain Menu. A disastrous start to race 2. Amazingly, everybody somehow manages to avoid him and everyone else. But Christian Poulsen, a very slow start. He's about to get swamped. Norbert Michelis in the blue Seat coming alongside. Poulsen, intent on winning the independence race and perhaps the crown as well, allows the turbo diesels of Michelis and the wriggling Tarquini to go by him. Farfus streams by as well. For Poulsen, it's not important to be at the front, it's important to be at the front of the independence category. Michelis leading from Tarquini, with Farfus up in 3rd place. And as Rob Huff jumps away from the start from 8th up to 6th position, he needs to be in front of Tarquini to take the runner-up spot in the championship. But again, Gabrielli starting incredibly fast. Michelis, however, having threatened running at the front several times, out front, but a massive accident. The first 14 cars got through, everybody else held up behind. 4 cars out on the spot. And at the restart, Alain Menu would retire to the pits as well. He'd learned on Thursday in Macau that his father had died in Switzerland, and he had no more heart to fight a recalcitrant car. At the restart then, after plenty of waiting, Norbert Michelis jumping away once more. The 25-minute wait didn't seem to have hindered his performance any. Tarquini going with him, and Ivan Muller and Rob Huff in their Chevrolets, looking to make moves past Christian Poulsen in the BMW. Well, Poulsen trying to defend both sides at the same time, going back onto the racing line, leaving Ivan Muller the run up the inside. And through too went Rob Huff. Poulsen just avoiding the barriers, Montero squeezing by as well. Alain Menu in the pits and out of the race. Like Andre Coto, really tragic weekend for him. Well, Rob Huff soon getting a pass in on teammate Ivan Muller up on the hillside. With Tarquini in 2nd place, Huff with a huge amount of work to do. Without doubt, the quickest car on the circuit. But in Macau, passing always difficult. Michelis leading comfortably, Tarquini going with him, and that would move Tarquini up into 2nd place. Augusto Farfus in the BMW in front of Rob Huff, intent on trying to finish on the podium. And Huff fighting hard to try and get by. Had several abortive runs on the BMW before eventually getting the overlap. Frustratingly, he could see Tarquini in the distance, almost close enough, but not quite. Farfus fought hard, but the Chevrolet just with a run on him. And maybe almost in the nick of time, Rob Huff making his way by the BMW. Now he was behind Tarquini, but there was a lot of ground between them and very little time in which to do much about it. Huff up to 3rd meant he would tie Tarquini on points, but the chances to race looked like they might be running out. Masaki Kano's BMW in the wall at Fisherman's meant that was 1 passing place gone. Down the straight, no such problems. Muller going by Augusto Farfus's increasingly second-hand looking BMW as he moved up to 4th place. Cesar Campaniso in his BMW, his race ending at Lisboa. Fingers crossed for the Hungarian Zengo Densian team. Norbert Michelis leading the race. Rob Huff closing right in on Gabriele Tarquini on the hillside, but he needed another lap. Tarquini just managed to stay in front long enough. Huff was all over him on the final lap, and that relieved the pressure on Norbert Michelis. The young Hungarian who started his racing career just 4 years earlier in 2006. Now on his way to winning a race in his first year in the World Touring Car Championship. Tarquini didn't have the car to hold off Rob Huff for long. Luckily, he didn't have to. Huff clearly capable of going much faster, but passing on the narrow hill, very tricky indeed. Once Tarquini got to the hairpin, that was pretty much it. Unless he crashed, he was going to take the runner-up spot in the championship. Although they were going to be tied on points, Gabrielli with 5 wins to Rob's 3 would take it on the tie-break. 2 corners remaining. Huff pushing as hard as he could, but he must have known at that stage that it was all but over. Michelis heading to the checkered flag. Last race of the year gets him his maiden win in the World Touring Car Championship. Second for Gabriele Tarquini means second in the championship. And Rob Huff, third in the race, third in the points. A fantastic day for Norbert Michelis. And Rob Huff, winner in race 1, on the podium again in race 2. Michelis also won the Rookies' Cup.
I knew that I like street circuits, and probably we will have the pace once again to be on ahead of the other rookies. So I was just confident before the weekend, and I'm really happy to have achieved this result.
And for Gabriele Tarquini, a hard-fought runner-up spot in the title race.
If in the beginning of the season somebody told me you finish second, I can sign for this result, the final result. But I mean, my best memories is the 5 victory, because can be more, because in Monza I was very fast and I lose for some technical problem. Also in Japan for my problem. But the season was very good.
Good for the outgoing champion, and good for Rob Huff too.
I love this place. It's great. Macau's very, very special. It's a great finale to the season, and yeah, as you say, very, very close. I think, you know, maybe with one more lap, you know, we might have had a chance of getting past Gabrielli, but you know, he wasn't panicking too much. I think he was on the last lap when I pulled a belter out and really caught him. But you know, he had a very strong car, and the cars were strong in different places. His was very strong on the first and last sector, and mine was very strong in the middle sector. And the middle sector obviously is very difficult to overtake.
And with an Indy race victory in race 2, Sergio Hernandez, the independent champion, as he was in 2008.
Sí, yo pienso que ha sido uno de los años más difíciles.
He says it's probably the hardest year in the independence category. I'm really happy with Pro Team. They won the team's title as well. Fantastic, and to win it in the final race was a great result for both of us. Well, he was the Indies champion in 2008, and Ivan was the world champion in 2008. So both drivers winning the title again in the same year. We may be alone in the car, says Ivan, but we had a huge team behind us who worked hard all year to get this result.
Ivan Müller! No!
Ah, Ivan, what can you say?
Un champion!
Vraiment très content pour lui.
Very fast, very consistent, stays out of trouble. Is a very clever man.
Thank you very much for a fantastic season.
Personnage extraordinaire.
Ce deuxième titre, tu l'as vraiment bien mérité et c'est que du bonheur. Merci.
Un grand champion.
Et puis un très grand pilote, la preuve, il est encore champion du monde cette année.
Really fast driver.
it's been fantastic having him in the team.
Le fait, c'est le seul qu'il a gagné avec 2 marques différentes.
Et à mon avis, c'est pas fini.
He's clever.
Yeah.
He's smart.
And he's always been on podium.
He's all round.
Merci Ivan d'être là. Parce que sinon, je n'avais pas quelqu'un à battre. Alors je te battrai une autre fois.
And it's a good racer. It's a fair racer as well. So, Ivan, congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
Ciao Ivan.